Well guys, this video didn't exactly go as I had planned it out because I went to Lowe's and I picked up the stovepipe and everything that I thought I needed to do this install. And it didn't work. I didn't have what I needed. And I learned some things as I was going about this. I wanted to make sure that I do a good safe install. I mean, we're gonna sleep in here. We're not gonna be burning it when there's no one present, but at the same time, you don't want to catch the cabin on fire while you're in it either. So I did some research, and of course the specifications for regular single wall stovepipe are it needs to be 18 inches away from the wall. And we've got that, where our stovepipe is 22 inches away from the wall the way I had the stove set up. I placed the stove the way that the US Stoves manual that came with this stated, that the back corners, since I'm placing it in a corner, the back corners need to be 12 inches off of the wall. So we have that amount of spacing. We have our fireproof mat here, which takes care of that. I got the insulated chimney to go through the roof and extend 2 foot above the highest point of the roof. Got me a rain cap to put on top of it. To begin with, the stove came with a length of stovepipe and one of those adapters. So I didn't buy the adapter to begin with. And I got everything home, got ready to put it together. And when I went to connect my adapter from stovepipe to chimney, they didn't connect. They were 2 different brands. So the stovepipe I got with the stove kind of didn't do me any good because I wasn't able to use it. And since I was gonna have to buy that anyway, lengths of stovepipe are cheap, so I figured I might as well have a nice new stovepipe if I'm gonna do it, and that way it's not dirty and have creosote in it and all that. So I went ahead and I asked my wife, who was in close to Lowe's, to pick me up a couple of lengths of stovepipe and an adapter. So she picked those up for me, and I came up here and still went ahead and made the install the other night. But at that time it was dark, you couldn't see very well, so I didn't do a whole lot of filming. I got everything put together, and I was looking at how my single wall stovepipe goes up to about 1 foot from the ceiling. So when I got it all put together, I was standing back looking at it, being pretty proud of myself for having it finished, except for the flashing on top of the roof. And I realized that, turn the hamper down a little bit now. I realized that my adapter was only about 7 or 8 inches from the ceiling. And I got to thinking about how my single wall pipe comes up to that adapter, which only leaves it 8 or so inches from the ceiling, and you need 18 inches. And I thought, well, I'm not comfortable leaving it that way, even though it probably would be okay, and we're not insuring this. There's a reason why they have those insurance regulations, and that's because it could burn your building down, and they don't want to be responsible for a high-risk insurance. So I decided, well, those rules are there for a reason, so I think I'm going to go ahead and get the stuff to do it right. And I went back to Lowe's this afternoon, and they actually had some double wall stovepipe, which only requires 6 inches from combustibles. And they had a piece of that double wall on clearance. So it worked out just for another 40 bucks. I was able to convert my single wall stovepipe to double wall halfway up. And that double wall goes to within 8 inches of the ceiling. And that's perfectly within the guidelines. And then I have my insulated chimney pipe going through the roof. So everything is safe, and I don't specifically know the codes, but I read some manuals and all of the basic standards, and I know that this is at least safe. Now, I will tell you that just for looks, I'm going to surround the backside of this with metal part way up the wall, and that will add a little bit more of a barrier between the walls and the stove and keep all of that safe. And I thought I would kind of share with you. Now you can of course see I don't have my flashing on around my chimney yet. That's supposed to come in tomorrow or Thursday. That's supposed to come in a couple of days, and we'll button that up. But I wanted to come up here and show you how we're set up here, because we have our double wall pipe to the adapter to our insulated pipe right here. And you see my fire. Got a good hot fire going down there. And I can put my hand on this chimney pipe, and it's warm, but I could leave my hand here all day long and not get burnt. Now, the double wall pipe, if you feel the double wall pipe, it's warm enough that you wouldn't want to leave your hand on it. But, we're talking 140, maybe 150, which tells you that you're going to be safe here. I mean, I can't feel any heat at all on my lumber right here, not even a little bit. And another cool thing about these new wood stoves is you feel the heat coming from the front of the wood stove here. But as far as the back side of the wood stove goes, it's got this shield on the back, and I can place my hand on the back of the stove here. And it's actually not any hotter than that double wall pipe up there on the top right before it meets the chimney. In fact, it's probably a little bit cooler. I can leave my hand on easier on the back of it. I can just hold my hand on it. The walls right here behind it feel really almost no temperature change right here. It's the way that these stoves are designed, they're so much safer. In fact, I was reading the manual, and this particular stove is designed and approved to be placed in mobile homes as well. So very nice, safe design. Wood stoves have come a long way. You can see the heat rising out of the pipe. Not a whole lot of smoke, burning nice and efficiently, which is cool. And of course you can kind of see how I have my stovepipe set up. I don't know if you can exactly tell from this angle, but I designed my chimney pipe to stick up about 2 foot above the front of the roof, which is, you know, the highest point on the cabin roof. Seems to be working great. So I'm happy with the way everything turned out, and I absolutely love having this glass door on my stove so that I can watch the fire burn. It looks great. It's kind of like having a fireplace without having to brick and create a fireplace with a chimney and all that. The cabin is pretty small. It's not going to take very much to heat it. In fact, I've got it pretty warm in here now because it's not that cold outside. It's in the 50s. I didn't need a fire. I just wanted to build one. And yeah, I'm really impressed. These new stoves, they burn so efficiently that actually you can see, you know, it's got the damper built into the bottom. So you don't even have to put a damper in your pipe, but you can see immediately the fire reacts to the flow where it pulls fresh air in from the bottom and feeds the fire. And we can get the fire really cranking if we want to, or we can turn the damper down and slow it way down. So pretty cool. It's drawing really well. I haven't had an ounce of smoke out into the cabin, so I'm real happy with that. And guys, this is just another aspect of the cabin build that I'm sharing with you. And this is not a how to install your wood stove video, because like I mentioned before, there are lots of different regulations, and your insurance company might require something different if you're going to put a wood stove in your house or your mobile home or any of those things. So be sure and consult the manuals and consult your insurance company before you do an install yourself. For me and my situation, I'm satisfied that we have a nice, safe install here. If you happen to see something that you think might cause a problem, be sure and chime in. I'm no expert, and this is my first time installing one, so I also share this stuff so that I can learn, and I have no problem with you pointing that out. So share it in the comments, and if it's something I think we need to take care of, then I'll jump on that. Be sure and subscribe if you're not already, and follow, because we've got a lot more work to do on this cabin before we can start camping up here and having a good time. Hope you enjoyed today's video. We appreciate y'all watching. Y'all have a good day.